Yeah, we got an intro.
Justin's not here today, so we're just sort of winging it. And you know, of course, he's at home watching. Get well, Justin. Oh. This is the 9th time you've had food poisoning in as many weeks.
Yeah.
I would really consider
maybe
some
making
sort of
food at home. Maybe better evaluating.
Or if you are making it at home, maybe you ought to look at eating out a little bit more often. Anyway, I'm Ed Pugh. This is Terrain Tuesday. We're here to build stuff. How's everybody doing? I hope they're safe. Everything's doing good. Michael is running the board today, and he's done really a very, very good job. So, Justin, you should be thinking about this. We're replacing you relatively very easily here.
Yeah.
Just
throwing all my work activities into the wind.
Yeah. So what we're working on, to catch those, in case this is your first time, we're working on a trebuchet. This is its base. What it's going to be, you got that picture I was showing you? There we go. That's what we're building when we're done, is that one and the big one in the center. And we're just from there. At that point, we're just sort of winging it. We don't have any plans, so you have to think a few steps ahead to what you're building. So anyway, what we've done so far is the base part. So anyway, you can pull the picture down.
These highly detailed plans that any engineer could follow.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, some drawing out of a book. So anyway, now you'll go to this cam. Let's make sure it's working. There we go. Okay, so where we last left off is we got these starboard, the first of the wings done here. And at this point, what we're going to do is start on this part.
Hey Glenn, how's it going?
Now, what will happen is what we'll have to do is we need to get a main. This is going to be a solid piece to support the structure and the weight. And then the way they've done it is a tiered support system. So this is a solid piece here, and then this one actually works to both support that piece. It's two pieces attached here and here. And that's going to be on each side, and it goes all the way around.
Glenn, I'm not sure where that picture came from or what book, but I know that it definitely looks like one out of an encyclopedia that I used to read when I was a child.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. It's an old wood engraving. It's the primitive wood engraving version of that picture you show. And for our scale, there's our scale references, these two little guys over here. So anyway, and you can see they do the same thing here. So for that, now I've got a sheet here that I was using for the geometry part of this is. And so before we started, I just sort of did some eyeing and stuff. So we're going to more or less go back in. Is our height beam equals pretty much this distance here for the height. And then what we'll go up is, we'll go ahead and use a heavy stock for that.
So those little lines that you've drawn, those are to help you know where you're going to put your supports?
No, that was actually, we showed them last week how we put some metal brackets down. Oh. But I had to pull them off because now we're getting ready to drop right on top of where they were. And we'll do that kind of detailing later. Now, what I'll do here is use this real quick, just for to mark where we're going to build. So we've decided we're going to go from that point to that point. I got a bad end here, so we'll start with this one. And we're going to make it that long there where I just stuck it in. And all I'm going to do with this to make sure we end up with a square is just mark it. I take it over to the edge. So while I could go all the way through and cut it, as you can see, we'll go ahead and do it this time. If the wood's harder, I just mark it all the way around and then work it with hand.
Will you move it forward a little bit more?
There we go.
Oh, nope, too late.
So anyway, there's the first one. Second one, we'll pull off of this one. First, we need a good end on it. And so I hope, and I do assume everybody here is ready for Christmas. Are you ready for Christmas, Michael?
I am, but before we get too far, we do need to remind people that are currently enjoying our show that, if we get some subs, we'll start giving some stuff away. Do you have an idea?
That's right. We use the sub routine, and that sounds weird.
Subroutine, yeah. So just so everybody knows, we're looking at, let's call it, one giveaway for every 5 or 10. Five subs?
You know me, I'll always go for the easy stuff.
Okay. Every 5 subs, we'll make sure that we
had a giveaway.
Give something away.
Okay. So with these two pieces done, and to give you an idea of you'll actually go to the other camera so we can see the height here.
Narcos was kind enough to let us know where the actual picture came from. The Arms and Uniforms, The Age of Chivalry. And even quoted who did it. That's amazing. Thanks, Narcos.
All right. So here's our height compared to the base right here that we're going to end up with. So now you can go back to the other. So knowing this, and we have a flat plane here on the bottom, that this is going to go to, I need to now connect. What we're going to build first are these sides. Let's do those. So I'm going to basically end up with this 4 times, and then this twice.
So are you going to cut these at an angle so that they sit flush, or are these all right angle cuts?
No, no, no. They're going to be at various angles. But
Okay.
I don't know what the angles are. We just wing the angles. And there's method to the madness. We've shown how to do that.
Well, just a little bit of glue and some thumbtacks, everything will be better.
Yeah, so you can fill anything with glue and static grass. Now our support beams will be a slightly
Hi,
smaller.
Favorite. How's it going?
And I'm going to run from approximately this location up. I wonder if that angle will work right off the bat. No, it could. I think we have a leftover angle that would work for us.
Bonus, everybody likes not having to do extra work.
Yeah. So, see if we can get it sort of straight here.
I mean, if only you had these awesome guidelines on this green thing to help you make sure it stays straight.
It's more of the cut and then the wood itself. Depending if it's hard or soft, this is a little bit harder. So, and it didn't come out really too accurate, but probably close enough. We'll take a little off this side here.
Well, your Christmas plans, Ed? You got anything special lined up?
No, my dad's moving. He's moving up to Denton, so we'll be spending a lot of the Christmas actually packing and moving, I guess. We'll take a day off and go hang out and do all of that, but overall we'll be just having fun like we do. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to drop this in, and I'm going to pin it so I can get a good cut angle. I want it to go right here. Let's see, I'll go from this side. Okay. So I don't know if you can see. Tell you what,
I'll change the camera here.
change the camera angle. See if I can get this on
Yeah,
here.
there you
Well,
go.
no.
Well, I mean, you can see a little bit better here.
What we're doing is I'm fitting this angle here to this here at this height.
And
Okay.
at the same time,
And then at the same time down here, I'm just resting against the wood. I mean the wood, the green mat, the table. Okay. So once I have this part done, then with my, and I make sure I get a good connection here. Yeah, right there.
then we're going to attempt to glue them on the
No,
inside.
no. We just cut. I'm still doing the cutting part. So at that point, then I'll pin it with my left hand here, and we go back in with that pin that I can never find right there. And we're just going to draw this angle in, or put a dent in the wood. We don't actually. Oh, it actually did draw.
Will the straight saw not let you get next to it to make the line?
No,
Okay.
because we're sort of at an angle. But once I cut one, then I'll match the cut. That's sort of the game here. And you know, it would be nice in a world where all corners were built at 45, but then it would also be a boring place. So these you just got a sort of free cut, and that just comes from, and if you'll notice, I'm actually drawing. I'm not trying to saw it. I get a lot better control by just starting it at one end and pulling it straight through than I would trying to go back and forth and it going everywhere. So now if we did it all correctly, and of course we did, this should fit.
Oh, Coffee said earlier how much they enjoy your building ethos. Let's just see how this goes.
Yeah, because I already messed it up. I ended up with two, well no, I ended up at the right, but I have too much of an angle on it. It didn't come out. Let me see if I can show you that. I'll find it here. Okay, there we go. So as I cut down, as you'll see, it's higher on this side than that. And that's just because I didn't have it in a jig. So to come back and correct it, and you can actually see it really well on this angle right here, how it's not at 90 degrees. So what I do is I just go over here and I'll mark it at 90 and take some off. The saw did most of the work.
Now you're just using the hobby knife to help pull
Yeah,
back
to
into
get
what
it to be more accurate. I mean, they do have tools. You don't have to do the whole wing it thing. I sort of like doing it, just makes everything keeps going faster. So
I'm going to switch your camera angles one more time.
what we're looking for here. Is this the right piece? Yes, this is the right piece. So I have to line up to that for structure, and I want to be here and here.
And are we going to trim the top down once we get a good spot?
No,
or is that
actually,
how it's
we'll
supposed to
dress it up before we go.
be? Okay.
So as you can see, we're pretty close to this angle, but I still don't like the fit at the bottom, and I really can't see it that well. See, it should be, it's wanting to hit here, way off. So I need to cut at a steeper, more like this to it.
Oh, we're going to have to move up further, Ed. They can't see.
Oh, as you can see there, I'm taking, see how I'm cutting like that to get it to fit.
Is that just a pull saw, or is that a back and forth?
It's a back and forth. It'll cut both ways, but I get more control by pinning this down and just pulling
Back. Okay.
than I would, because I'll start to get all over the place. And I paid a little bit better attention there, so I got a better cut. I just got to be thankful that the guy we're building this for isn't watching us. So yes, now that fits. Okay, and now that I have that, hopefully the same thing will work over here, because mathematics says it should, and it does. So what we're going to do, and it won't work here because we're way too long, so we're going to need 4 of these, and now that we've done one and worked it into shape, we come over here and grab some scraps, and didn't look into it there. That angle doesn't quite match it, but it's pretty close. So I can you see what yeah.
Yeah, it's a good angle. Although, be careful, you're going to cut into your frame on your...
Thing up there, yeah. We also covered repairs in a prior episode. It's like anything. Leaving the scene and repairing is always a...
You know, back to the earlier statement. There's nothing a little bit of glue can't fix.
Yeah. So that should work, but my angle's off a little bit. Let me check this side. No, it's definitely not that one. So, seem to have a thing of not wanting to hit it straight today. Got a lot of stuff going on around. It's the holidays, so we have a lot of... Today we've had a regular Tuesday RPG group that have been down there.
Yeah, I saw them. They looked like they were having a good old time.
We've got painters down in the break room. There's people that just show up and will sit down there in the store break room and paint. So there's always a lot of activity down there. Scott is stamping boxes. Scott is one of our special needs people.
Appropriately timed his cleaning of the break room during lunchtime.
Did he? Well, that way he's noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, made him. We got popcorn.
Ooh, coffee brings up a good point. We need some medieval version of duct tape so that every time we need to fix it, we can just do it.
Yeah, there we go. Go back in time and get that one going. You could duct tape the whole world long before they even invented what a patent would be. So
the Minimath makes definitely note that some sandpaper might be useful. We don't prescribe to things like sandpaper.
I got some sticks.
We like to just use more cutting.
Yeah. Well, the thing I have with sandpaper or the sticks, and I mean it is very true, is I'm trying to make sure I get it to a 90. And because when I'm doing it on this, I have a tendency to wobble and play with it. So that's why I'm personally doing it. But you are right. You could. It's really, at the end of the day, like I said before, whatever gets it done for you is the best way to do it. And a minimal amount of work. So what I'm doing here is just marking it.
While he's marking that, as a reminder, the minimum number of subs today to start doing giveaways is 5. So every 5 subs we get, we will be giving a Christmas menu away. That Christmas menu will be of your choice.
Oh, that's true. We don't have them on a camera. Here, I can show them real quick. They're the new ones. They are in metal. There's not a plastic. These are the Christmases that went on sale.
Well, recently.
Recently, yeah. So I don't know if we can get a good...
The dreidel definitely comes with arms, even though he doesn't dare, because... Yeah. Not to name any names, Ed Pugh was actually trying to dreidel it.
No, I take it back. Now, I mean, we were all spinning it, and it was working well. Obviously, it's not going to work for me now. So, yes, you have the dreidel, you have Krampus. This is Christmas Past. Is that the name?
Past is the one on the far left,
That's
right?
the lady near the tombstone. Okay. And this
Present-
is party
present-
guy?
Yeah, present is drinker, right?
Present, he's just drinking. Okay, yeah. And then this is,
Oh, maybe I'm getting future and past mixed up.
it doesn't matter. Past, yeah, I don't know.
It's been a while since I watched the. You don't even remember which one I watched anymore. That's how long it's been. Yeah, no, I got that, but I don't remember which one it was. Was it the Billy Crystal version? Not Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal, you're thinking of Murray?
Yeah, Bill Murray. There we go.
Bill Murray.
I don't know why I would get those guys confused.
Anyway, and that's actually a very good movie. I liked it. Actually, I like all the Scrooges. I've seen a lot of different ones, and that's really a story. I've never seen a bad version of it, I guess. It would be a hard to mess up show. So, get that going. Let me turn it. Make sure I've got it on its side.
Thanks, Mevwin. It's kind enough to let me know the Tombstone was the future, so I got them confused. Thanks, Shooter, for that subscription. Really, really appreciate it. Just need 4 more, and we got a giveaway on our hands. Wait, do we have a Scrooge miniature ever?
Yes, I thought we did, or something like that, in a long time ago. I don't know. Look it up and see.
Help if I knew how to spell Scrooge. That would be.
You may do it that way. By the way, I discovered something on the website yesterday.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was actually very nice.
We're going to have to talk to our art director about this no Scrooge miniature showing up on our website.
We probably also have to check trade or copyright. I don't know who owns it. If it's
call.
old enough, it's no problem. We just haven't done it. But that might be it. Now, we could, at this point...
Oh, Bug Lips. Look at that. Bug Lips immediately dropped us into a giveaway. So we got at least one
going.
giveaway.
And is it their choice or one of each? What did you decide?
Ooh, I was going to go with their choice, but I know how you like to give everything away, so it's really kind of up to them.
So how about we just give them all 5 for a drawing for every 5? That way, for every 5 subs,
Okay.
we're
gonna
give
give
one person out
all the
5
new
minis.
minis. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Well, thank you, Bug Lips, for getting us started.
Yeah. And making us follow the rules.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, my announcement
So we need
box
4
is
of
off.
these
There we
particular
go.
ones.
Our announcement box is back on. Sorry about that, folks.
Now, something that you'll see us do more, and I did last week, this is a changed subject here, sort of hard. I softened a lot of these edges by just going in and hitting them with the knife like that. That was just something that just sort of do it. And then also, too, if you can see these indentations in the wood, that's just we're going to start doing that more and more to age and weather this thing as time goes on. And it's sort of best done over a period of time whenever you get a chance, as opposed to all at once. You don't get any free angles on this one or that one. So, all right.
Man. You're really getting at it. How long do you think you're going to take you to finish this sucker up, Ed?
I figured about 4 to 5 shows. And this would be show number 3.
Okay.
It'll pull together. Once we get past these basic steps, it'll pull together. It might go more than that because since we decided, I went ahead and said we should. It was supposed to be non-functional. That's what I was telling. We weren't going to make it actually operate. But what I decided is I bet we could make it operate as long as our ballast and our target load would be a chocolate kiss, a Hershey's chocolate kiss. And then that weighs the ballast, which I forgot the formula, but there's a formula for it. I think we need to be 2 times the target weight or 4 times the target weight. So that wouldn't be too hard to achieve, and it wouldn't put so much stress on the balsa wood as to fire it one time and it all fall apart because it just rattled. And that was the thing there. So we won't be throwing stone or anything, or marbles. But I do think we could probably get away with throwing chocolate kisses.
Maybe some Bones miniatures?
Easily.
Surf or scale?
Yeah, Surf Oracle takes a ride, yeah.
Let's see. Neurocog, you can only ever enter once into the giveaway, so sorry about that. And then someone else up here asked, Dark Kosame, I messed that up, said, what made you choose to build a trebuchet?
Because when I was doing the shows for Ann, when she was out of town, because I didn't have any ability to make continuity. I wanted to, everything I did was, let's paint a miniature in 45 minutes. And that's fine, you can do that, and I've got other things we can do in 45 minutes. But this would have given us just sort of a starter. This started with the second episode of something that would take show to show. And also, too, it was designed to be as a build-along. If you've got your scraps, you can see how I'm doing this. And whether you're doing it live right now, or you just catch it on the YouTube and go back and watch it, it's just to teach you enough to where you can do it. So the total build time would probably be 6-7 hours, a couple of evenings if you wanted to do that from that area. So it's not really a lot. The hardest problem really is just you don't have a set of plans, nor do you have a bunch of pieces already sort of cut and said, you know, here, start gluing this together. And you have to look, your plans are whatever drawing you come up with, kind of a thing. And what was the source on that particular
the question
piece
was,
of art?
you saying the source from the art piece?
Yeah, somebody said they found the original.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Don't even.
It was somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's further up in the chat box, further than I can go. Or if the person's still in the chat that would like to remind us, that would also be great.
Because I ran across a piece for the first time in the 80s in a library, a closed library, or the North Texas Secure Library, where you can look at old books, but you can't ever check them out or take them. And that's where I ran across it, but I don't remember what it was.
Oh, Parfait, thank you very much for the follow. We appreciate it.
Come on, there we go.
Okay, so the color picture is from Arms and Uniforms, The Age of Chivalry, by Lillian and Fred, a bunch of stars. So I assume that the word is just triggering some people from being able to say because it's too close to the F word.
Oh.
It's an excellent 3-volume set.
Okay, so we need 4, so I need one more of these. I get an angle out of this side. Yeah, perfect.
Thanks, Dark. He's quoting the person who did the quote. So our reference is now from a reference to the reference.
That works.
Masman, it is cold, or it was this morning. I've been stuck inside since
I was below
too early.
freezing this morning when I got up. We do a workout on Tuesday, Thursdays morning real early, and I think it was 27 then. So it is getting below freezing at night.
Which is awful, because now I have to plug my faucets every night to make sure that they don't freeze
How
up.
about you just don't unplug them during the day? You're talking about your outside ones?
Yeah.
Why do you go around and undo them during the day?
Well, because the people at the house are caulking the house, so they need access to the water so that they can clean themselves.
They should bring their own.
Their own water?
I don't know. It's all too hard. So now we should have 4 of these.
Yeah,
Just sort
Dark,
of
I don't
chew
like the
them up.
30s. I mean, once it gets below 70 degrees, I don't like it anymore. Covis, thank you very much for that sub. We are 3 subs away from our second piece of the giveaway.
Oh, wow.
All right?
Cool.
So 3 more and 2 lucky winners are going to get all 5 of the Christmas models
Justin's going to be so proud of us
that we can. Yeah, all right.
that we can follow the plan.
I mean, if you had to document it somewhere, it'd be a lot easier.
Oh, it's like ironclad in his brain. Locked away. So, we've got 4 of these now that are reasonably close. As you can see, we'll have minor variations, but then again, it is what it is, or what it is. So let's see, we've got 2 verticals. We have these supports. Now we need...
Trash, I do in fact have the ones from those little foam ones. I just take them off, which is probably reasonable.
What we're building now are these lower supports. This right here, that's a 1-piece on each side. So we've built these 4 here. Now I've got to do these 2. And they're actually slightly higher and shorter. So it's going to be a little bit greater angle.
Do we have a highlighter in here? That way we can highlight the things you've done.
The things I've done?
Yeah, as you get done completing.
Oh, no,
piece of
yeah,
your
that's a
paper.
good idea. I don't have one. If you can find one. And if all else fails, I go steal one from Cindy. That's always good for a round of excitement that afternoon or the next morning.
Makes sense why you're always in trouble.
Yeah. They only think I'm in trouble. All right. Now this one, oh, crayons, that works. So if we use the crayon, we've
Every
done
crafter's need.
the trough part here, or this is what the payload will fly down, this little curved out area here. That is, I saw it over
Thanks,
here.
Nerdy Jock, for that sub. We're 2 away from our second set of giveaways.
That would be this piece. Obviously, then we've done this part here, as well as this part here, and these here on each side. And now what we've cut are these pieces that will go up here and here. And what we're getting ready to cut is this one, which when we get those on, we can then go vertical. And then at that point, then we have to do the supports. But we'll probably have to do more cutting before we actually glue it. And it's 30 today, so I don't know. We'll see how far we get. This might take long. I wanted to do some of this work, the repetitive work, offline, so that we didn't spend a lot of time with y'all watching the same thing over and over and over. Justin, on the other hand, believes that y'all really want to watch the same thing over and over and over. So while he's not here, why don't we take an official poll?
Oh, yeah, okay.
And if you guys don't care, I can do a lot of the repetitive work online.
Cool.
I don't know how you would do that. I'll leave that to
We're
you.
going to say all as one option. So if you guys want to watch it all.
All.
And then the other option is faster.
Faster, yeah.
Right.
So, or fast. All or fast.
All and real fast, okay.
And we'll have definitive evidence to give him.
Oops.
Okay, I go from here.
Actually, got to put fast in there. All right. And hopefully it's not case sensitive. All right, poll's activated. So you guys can let us know. Ooh, I'm not going to lie, Ed, it's already looking like he was right. I don't like to say it, but, you know.
Damn. This will only be like the third time in my life I was wrong. The first two were my wives.
Oh, we're bouncing back. All right, starting to get closer to even. At least feeling like a fair poll instead of an unfair poll.
Okay.
No hashtags in the votes, guys. No hashtags.
Yeah, just
Hashtag
let it
is,
roll.
though, for the free, which we're really close to giving away our second set of all the holiday minis. Just need 2 more subs.
Okay.
Oh, non-2K Lurch. You know what? I'm going to mess that one up, too. We are polling either fast or all as to see whether or not you want to see all the details done by Ed, which is what Justin believes the audience wants, or fast, which is what Ed believes the audience wants, to basically show you the skills and then adjust, do the work offline.
So there's work I can do offline that is the repetitive part of what we're doing online, like cutting 4 of those. I could cut 1 and show y'all. Or so anyway, it gives us something to.
We are indifferent. We were just kind of curious what you guys felt.
I just didn't want people to get bored and go, wow, I could go watch paint dry.
It's better than a jar of peanut butter. I've seen that lately.
What, somebody makes a jar of peanut butter?
Yeah, they were just streaming a jar of peanut butter.
Is that like that guy that put that recipe for sandwiches on Kickstarter? Or a salad? It was a salad. And it
That
funded like
sounds funny.
$70,000.
Really?
It was somebody's ultimate recipe for something mundane. I don't remember if it was a sandwich or salad or what, but it did like $50,000 or $60,000 in Kickstarter to him to develop this recipe. And of course, then for the next week, it seemed like there were 500 recipes on Kickstarter, none of them funding. You know, it's sort of like, well, you know, we did that, guys.
Yeah, a lot of times it's just the laugh value. It's kind of like the guys who make Cards Against Humanity. I think it was one year about this time. They did a kind of like a tracking spend-based thing. Maybe it was New Year's, where they just dug a hole out in the middle of nowhere. Had big tractors out there, cats, just digging a hole. And they kept it going as long as people were basically funding the dig. And it went for, I don't know, pretty good little ways. Oh, hey, person 1 said he actually fulfilled his Kickstarter and a little party for the backers. Your salad guy.
Oh, it was. He did. I just caught it in the news and went and read it. But I'm always amazed at stuff like how people come up with that. But it's not so much they come up with it, it's how they actually figure out a way to monetize it. It's like the pet rock or the little leash that acts like you have an invisible dog, you know. And
Oh, look at that. Bug Lips doing it again. So we are for sure having 2 giveaways here. And with another 2 more subs, we have a potential to have a 3rd.
oh, wow. Well, thank you, Mr. Bug Lips. A lot of people appreciate that. By the way, Mr. Bug Lips, I wore my Ed I Love Heart or I Heart Ed Sculpts t-shirt the other day. And I did have some people ask me what it was. I mean, or why. And I just had to tell them I'm Ed. And of course, when you say sculpt to them, you know, they're in their brain, you know, they're thinking something like a Michelangelo, a statue or something, right? This is not little skeletons, a bunch of arms doing goofy things.
So they're thinking of an actual,
There we
like,
go.
sitting on the pedestal modeling.
Yeah, or something like that. But, all right, so thank God we only need 2 of these. And we got a free angle here. Free angles are simply angles I don't have to cut again because I need the same thing.
Well, that is a good question, Bug Lips. I'm not too sure who ended up getting the actual shirt at ReaperCon. Do you remember, Ed, who got the shirt? Okay.
I remember Ron and I had decided we were going to sign these and then put them up for auction.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't bring mine that day, so it didn't happen. And then I've got it at the house. If y'all haven't noticed, my entire wardrobe is Reaper shirts. So
Ashley the Monk, thank you very much for those final 2 subs so that we can give 3, that's right, folks, 3 sets of the Christmas minis
wow,
away.
3 sets of 5. That's good.
Now I just have to make sure I go grab them when I get down there before Cindy finds out and gets mad that we did it.
Yeah, what we did.
Mm-hmm. And since this is during the day, she's not watching, so she can't yell at us until after she watches it later.
I like how she leaves signs down there summoning you. Ron, report to internet. It's like, oh man,
we need to
sucks
get
to be you,
We need to get the
dude.
picture of that because that's funny.
And sadly, it wasn't even him. It was my mischievousness that got him in trouble. By the way, this year for the Christmas party at Reaper, Miss Adrian in the front office excelled, and she's come up. Now, it's not going to happen before Christmas. It'll happen on the 27th. But what we're going to do
the
is
Sunday?
the whole shop. I don't know. You know, I didn't look it up, to be honest with you. But the shop
Oh, Friday.
is going to the Alamo Draft House to watch Star Wars. So
That sounds awesome.
that'll be fun. I mean, there's bowling. There's all sorts of things we could do or have done in the past, but going to see a Star Wars movie the
Especially
first time.
this particular Star Wars movie, since in theory it's the air quote end of the story.
They say that every time. I haven't watched any. I saw one trailer about several weeks ago in the theater, and that's the only trailer I've seen. But to me, it was just like the last one. Is this like the Last Jedi, right? And okay, now this one was sort of like the story ends, but the legend goes on. That was their tagline. I'm not gonna watch any. I'm not gonna watch any trailers. I'm just gonna go and watch it. But really, Disney, you know, they're just gonna say, okay, well, yeah, this is a $1 billion franchise, but we think it's time to end the story. I'm sort of not thinking that's the reality. And as Ron always says, I'm probably overthinking it. But
You know, what about though the integrity of the story?
well, when it's worth $5 billion, which is what you paid Lucas for it, I don't. That buys a lot of integrity. All right, so I've worked them. They seem to match. They're pretty close. So that's our 2 sides. So let's just pin this in place. We won't glue it. That'll give us a chance to see it, and then we can decide what the next step is. Because I'm sort of torn. Do I continue to go, or do I let this little box of pins defeat me? And, oh, I won. There we go. That was easy.
And you didn't stick yourself, so Lady took no casualties on your part.
Yeah.
No, Max Powers says the Last Jedi already killed the integrity of the story.
Oh.
Oh,
I'm one of these. I have a very low threshold for movies. The worse they are, sometimes the better they are. I used to watch Mystery Science Theater 3000, my brother, and sometimes I'd get
yeah.
annoyed because they wouldn't stop talking because I was actually following the movie.
Well, and like they stream a bunch of those now on Twitch. So I was never into it for the most part, but I've been multiple times. Justin and I will be up here and eating lunch, and we'll start to watch some of that stuff. And some of the movies are not terrible given the
Right, given what they're, yeah.
given when they came from.
But I was a huge, I think it was Ed Wood fan, did Plan 9 from Outer Space, all that kind of stuff. And just the horror. So when it came time to Star Wars, even though the first three movies, or numbers, I'll put it that, the second three, the numbers 1, 2, and 3, you know, I even found a purpose to watch them. I mean, they weren't, you know, I guess other people were, they were horrible. And I wouldn't say they were pillars, but they were doable. All right. The tie straps, yes. So that's where we need that medieval duct tape.
Oh yeah, some tar and what? Straw? Would be tar?
Tar and straw, yeah. I don't know.
Whoa, Quindy Lure. I'm sorry again. I'm really bad with reading Twitch handles, or just handles in general. But thank you very much for those subs. That gives us. We're at our 4th giveaway. That's right.
Oh wow.
4
That's
folks are gonna get all 5 of the Christmas or the recent release Christmas minis. Well, we also have some very opinionated discussions about the old Star Wars trilogies going on.
Which ones?
The
The
episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Some both positive and negative statements there. Some general dislike for the Return of the Jedi. Oh, Garage Yeti, thank you very much for another 5 giveaway. That's another
wow.
set of the minis. We're at to 5. Are we gonna cap this at, or are we just gonna keep going? All right.
Oh, never. As long as Ron's not here, we just keep going.
Oh, all right. You heard that, folks. Plus, Justin actually has to do all the work once it comes time. So.
Wait a second. Is that the right one? Dot, 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 dot. What did I do here? Okay, there we go. That's these two. And I'm missing. There it is. Okay, that one's not going to work. None of these are going to, oh, there we go. That one will work.
Ooh, Trash Rumble wants to know if you're making the trebuchet model to see if he can make a full-size one to cut down on order shipping.
That would be fun. One time, Kevin and I, we got the kit, but we never could do it as a team building project. We did buy a trebuchet kit that, as a team, we would put together, and it just never materialized.
After I left from my first deployment, the people that followed me in, right, some reservists and some people that stayed back, they actually built a trebuchet out there. It was scaled at 125, I think.
Okay.
Or 110, and they had to do it. They had to get permission before they tested it because they would fling high enough that it would set off all of the auto tracking, some of the stuff we were using. So like they had to actually get permission from control in order to test their sandbag fling. It was kind of hilarious.
Well, you know, there is a pumpkin contest. Now, there's the man. How we doing? Mr. Overton.
Hey, everyone.
Thanks, RN, for that subscribe. We appreciate you. 4 more subs, and we're going to give away our 6th set. And then we got John in the room.
Hey, everybody. Hope everybody's enjoying Terrain Tuesday.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it a lot.
What's the news that is the news?
I'm just hanging out. I saw that you were live, so
Oh,
I
okay.
wanted to come say hi. But
Okay, let's do the other camera real quick
Absolutely.
so we can see. We need to get that camera down a little bit, or here I'll lift it up.
Yeah.
That one there, if it could come down and see a little bit more.
Anything for you, Ed.
Yeah, sure. That always gets me in trouble. Perfect. So as you can see on this one side, we've got these just pinned in. That's what we're doing here, that part. And then from there, the discussion is what we're going to do for these supports. because we have a set of supports now that will need to be 2 pieces that'll actually on this side here, coming up from there, go higher. So they would reach down to here,
Do you want to show our
come into
picture
here,
so that
and
you
then go
can-
into here. Yeah, if you want to. It would be, let me find my little pointer piece. You can see it on the, well, I can't go over the picture, so.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here you go. Just put it to this. Put it to the down camera is good. So we've got this piece here that is going to go down, and it's just it's its own piece. It helps support these two, so it's separate, and that's one of them. The other one is the same thing. It goes from higher and cuts through here. That's what I was trying to decide. So if you go back, what we're going to do is, do we want to go in and go higher? This is how it would actually end up looking. Get that on an angle, or 90, so y'all can see it. This is sort of where we would end up with that piece. But it actually has to be cut from here to here, and then from here to here. And is it something we want to mess with before they're glued or after they're, or build them separate? And I think it almost looks like I'd rather go ahead and assemble this and then add these and just fit them, which would be a little bit more delicate. Same thing happens on this side, straight on, is it would go higher up from like this. So some pretty extreme angles, but this would go from here to here, and then this part here up there. So, but to do that and make it look better, I should probably have gone out a little farther here. But we can go. I think we'll go ahead and put it together. We can go back down now. So, looking at it, I think we'll go ahead and assemble it. And since we have that in place,
So we're gonna go to the gluing process. So these pins.
yeah,
can be
we'll
taken out?
we'll start gluing and pinning it from behind the bottom. I'm just, again, I got to think it through. So
Looks like some guidance from the chat suggests that doing it after you've gotten everything glued would definitely make it easier.
easier. That's what it's looking like to me. Especially with, since you're hand fitting the angles, it'd be, you know, that would help. Since I don't have a paper template to go to. But I did notice that
So-
on these two that I made for the side here, I did them in a way to where they pulled up. And you can see right here I've got more of a gap than is probably needed. I probably needed to pull it out to here so that when I put this piece that goes from here up, you can see the contrast. Right now, with it here or right there, you're not going to see it. So what I'm also going to do while we have this down is change the angle of this piece here on the top. It doesn't look like I have to at the bottom, but I'll have to up here do it.
Well, the real question here is, given the weight of our object we're trying to fling, do we need the extra supports, or will it work without?
No,
the
I'm
supports?
putting the extra supports in. No, we don't. Probably not, but I'm putting the extra supports in just because they're part of the overall process.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But I agree with you to just sling them. After what I was going to do is after this, we'll build some little baby catapults with, or not baby catapults, they're about yay big, but they're powered with rubber bands. And no, those are fun. We used to get in trouble with those. They're definitely, you need to wear safety goggles, kind of a thing. So I was going to change my angle here, looking down on it, is as you can see here, it's pretty flush in the angle. Let me get to it there. But what I'm going to want to do is change it like that a little bit, just so I get a little bit farther out on the piece. Oh. And to do that, we're just going to randomly sort of go in and take that chunk off. Now, if this really also, too, gets too boring for people, we can stop and go build something else. Because there's a whole lot. So a lot of people emailed in some good suggestions. There's a lot of stuff I want to cover. It's going to be stuff like backdrops for minis if you're building, you're basing a mini and you want a backdrop.
There is
See now
there's a diorama that I have requested that you
That's
build.
true, too. You've got a diorama. We might stick that in an episode. So as you can see now, let me get it lined up at the bottom. Now that angle fits a lot better. And in doing so, what I did was move it out to here. So That way we'll get more contrast than we did from the pinning.
Oh, Trash Rama has a serious question that is, I mean, probably one of the most important things I've seen in a long time.
Uh-oh.
When you and Dave were children, and you guys sat down to play Monopoly, who won the fight to play the car?
To play the car. Funny you'd say that. Actually, that wasn't much of a fight. I always wanted to play the top hat. I don't know why.
Oh, because you wanted to be the Monopoly man.
I guess.
got
I
it.
don't know. But that was always my piece, is the top hat. And yes, Dave always used the car. But playing Monopoly with us is not like playing Monopoly. When you're playing with two accountants,
No, we don't play at the house at all anymore.
yeah, it's a whole different world.
Danny got mad at me too many times. I would play the banker because I'm a little bit better with the money, and I would always win. And then she'd be like, "You're cheating." I'm like, "Babe, I'm the banker." There's no such thing as cheating when you're the banker.
Yeah, when you're the man, you can't be cheating. All right, there we go. No, Dave and I would sell participations. So like if I had two of the yellows and you had one of the yellows, then I would set up a participation whereby you rented your yellow to me, and kind of a thing, and stuff like that in the game. And but it made well. But we did strictly adhere to the rules. Every time you landed, you had to pay full rent. You couldn't negotiate out or anything else and stuff like that. So you had to satisfy the debt and things like that, which actually made the game actually a lot shorter when you played by the rules. You know, and things like pass go to collect the free money and that pot. There was always the free parking pot.
Free parking,
Put that.
yeah.
We didn't have. That's not any of the rules. Those are all house rules. So we didn't do that. And those were things that just made the game last longer. So
Passing
maybe we
guard-
ought to play Monopoly at ReaperCon. That would probably be fun.
Watching a lot of people get heated real quick. But it'd be really cool to bring your own mini. So you know,
Get to do what you're gonna do.
be your own mini during a Monopoly game. That'd be fun.
All right. So it's time to get this thing more into gear. And what we'll do is we'll get our base in.
Oh, Rings points out that we should let him do, or her, I'm sorry if I'm wrong about that, some Terrain Tuesday. They could bring the Mercalor, the Wraith King diorama.
Oh yeah,
That'd be cool.
we could play with that. Yeah. All right. So now what to do this, to get this started, I need to get a pin through the bottom here, these two sides. And when you're going through these thick ones, it's easier just to go ahead and place the pin rather than try and hold it on the other side and shift it through. Now, ironically, you can also run into, if you look down into here on the side, right there, that pin. So sometimes when you're pushing, you'll run into the other pin, and you'll see there's two there,
Okay, double
two
pin on the
targets,
other
and it
side.
looks like I'm actually lined up for one of them. So you just sort of play it and you get it down in there, kind of thing. But really what I want to make sure I do is I push through and it goes straight. I don't want it to angle because it's going to have to hook up to the other side. Now, it looks like we had two pretty good hits, and if I'm just slow about it, I can push them through like that. And so if you can't see them because of the chatter, but there are the two pins right here. And they'll become our anchors. And then, but let's make sure we get this
Ooh.
done right.
Swill makes a good point, and then Evermeet follows it up. Is maybe doing some board game streaming. Swill suggests that our personalities play a game of Monopoly together. So yourself, Ron, Ed, well, you're
Oh, no,
Ed,
that could
so
be fun.
Dave.
That could
John,
actually be, you know, Justin was,
Sadie.
I always keep, because never mind, doesn't lie, was talking about wanting to stream some games. And, but we weren't talking about the game. He just thought it would be fun.
Some kind of miniatures-based game. Anything that uses miniatures, right? Since
That
we're
was an
making
idea, or
something?
just, yeah.
Just
Or
games in
actually, he was
general?
wanting to do online, because we play Age of Empires a lot.
Oh, okay.
And he thought that would be, and I don't know if we could handle the
You
toss.
do you play the Celts every time?
No, I'm
Why would
usually
you not
the,
play the greatest nation ever?
Well, because the Goths are actually a step ahead of
Okay,
them.
No, get out of here. It's nonsense.
And you get the Goth horde on you, but dude, you ain't gonna ever get off that.
William Wallace can literally kill everybody.
The Celts. I will have to go try the Celts, just see what they're about. No, I'd usually, the Huns, the Goths, the hordes, those are the ones I like. Dave's wife, she likes the Brits, so she'll play
the
Britain.
longbows, yeah.
They're a lot of fun. I'm a very aggressive player. I'm not much of a, I usually rarely build walls.
Wow, that's kind of a shock given the nature of that game.
Right, no, but if you build fast enough and you are ready to go whip some ass, you just get out there and do it. That's my thing. And if you whip mine, fine. We'll just reset. I got the reset button, and we'll play another game. So
You weren't one of those people that like halfway through the game when you were losing, you're just like, I'm done. I'm playing a new
no,
one.
no,
You
no, no,
didn't do
no. If
that,
there's
right?
another player, I will always give them their due to have their moment in the light. I'm amazed that I'll do that too, and that others don't. But nonetheless, all right. Now I'm losing pieces of wood. There we go. Okay, so but what I did is I just put 3 pins in, and that'll save some time, and that'll also bring a little bit more stability to it as we go. Get that going. And we're just going to drop.
Rings, whenever you get close to finish, or if you want, share some of those images with us at reaperlive@reapermini.com, and we'll make sure to show some of the stuff off.
Naturally, I put in way too much glue there, but it was fun.
I thought we talked about this earlier, right? You can't have too much glue.
I know, but that's too much glue. That's clearly way too much glue. And with pins there, you can't take your finger and go like this and clean it out. So I don't know what I was thinking. I was somewhere else, not here.
Do you need oh, right.
Just get some out like that, and I'll stick it to something important.
The piece of information that reminds you about the other things you're supposed
To say and do,
Yeah.
and yeah. My 0 mod list for the day. Yeah, I think Monopoly would be fun. I think that would be a.
We are coming up on the hour.
Are we really? Actually, we
yeah.
usually go a little over.
All right.
I usually try and get to a safe stopping place,
Okay.
where I feel like we've accomplished something, and so far we haven't really accomplished a whole lot. So I think if we get these done,
We'll be where you
now
want to be.
before I glue them on, see, notice this is the problem. As the one I need are the 2 long ones here, and the one I just grabbed and was going to glue on was a short one. So sometimes you got to pay attention.
As a reminder, folks, we do have other shows throughout the week. Most of them start at 3 o'clock. The painting with show tomorrow with Ann will start at 1:30. However, soon we're looking to adjust that to a 3 o'clock time slot as well. We're also only 4 subs away from giving away 6 total sets of the 5 Christmas minis. So if we get those 4 more subs in right before we finish up, that'll be super awesome.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You know, another fun game to play, but that I play as a board game, but I don't know about personalities in it like
Risk.
you'd have is. Risk is okay. It's a Pandemic.
Oh,
I've always been
man. The original version of that game,
that was the original. I've never played all of the expansions. I just
I think
did
with 5 players, never been able to beat it. Not once. Because you didn't have any, there was less things to help you get through the game with just the original pack. And with 5 players, you just, the plague got to move so much faster than you guys could react.
Yeah. So. Now we've got these in place. All right, now let's get these on.
Dr. Bob, it will, as we shift that show to the 3 o'clock, it will throw some of our viewers off. But as a consolation prize to kind of help everybody out in that space, we're going to start having a regular show with Ann during the day.
Yes.
So you'll see a lot more of Ann and painting. We'll focus those earlier shows on what we're calling the Pro Tips series, which will be doing kind of specific things like, I want to paint hair. Let me do this hair on this model. Or you want to do an eye or something of that nature.
Okay. Now, when I did this one, this is what you'll encounter is things like this. Now that I've got it this 90 degrees, you put that up on the other so they can sort of see what I'm doing here. And what I'm trying to do is make this angle here. Okay, so when I make it, I look up here, and I see that angle still not, so I'm going to have to work that corner a little bit and get it down.
If you can move up just a little bit, Ed, so they can see.
Sorry.
No worries.
A little explosive area. It actually starts off in an organized, I do lay the stuff out, but that lasts about 30 seconds.
Yeah. I
And
did
so
see you
now-
take it out of your bucket with a purpose.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're ready. We'll get that one in. Okay, so when I'm doing these sides, it's very important, obviously, especially if we're going to actually shoot this thing, that this piece here stays in line with this kind of a thing. So it's hard to tell, but we want good 90-degree angles. And while this can be flexible, there's no support on it, as I'm putting the support in, I need to constantly maintain that flex back to ground zero, or the right angle. The geometry becomes, if you're actually going to make it operational, the geometry then becomes very, very important.
Bearing in mind, all that is based on whatever you're getting ready to shoot as well. If it's light
Correct.
enough, then it's going to matter less because you're going to have less stress. But
Less stress, but also too, you'll get a little bit more of a fudge factor. But if your geometry's all balled up, it doesn't really at that point, man, you could try all day. You'll get up just getting frustrated. That's what I was going to say. There's actually a group of people that get together every year and trebuchet hurl pumpkins. And some of these pumpkins, they build these monstrosities out of steel. And some of them will hurl these pumpkins, almost, if I remember correctly, over a mile.
wow, that's all.
5,000 plus square, or 5,000 feet. You should be able to look it up on pumpkin chunking, is what they refer to it as.
See if I
So
can.
what I'm going to do is I've glued this center one, but I'm going to go ahead and pin this one in and get all my geometry correct. And then what I'm going to do is come back and remove the pins and do the joints. But I want to make sure everything lines up. Are you searching the pumpkin chunk?
I am actually indeed. There's a bunch of cool stuff here. I will post a link here into the website so you guys can enjoy that. It definitely looks like some interesting stuff.
Can you pull a picture up so I can see it? Or?
No.
I'm not part of that crew, huh?
There's world records here. So what is this? There's no pictures for the world record. Events.
Okay.
Results. Images. This looks like a cannon. Give me the image.
All right.
Let's say 12, 17, 19.
And I guess if you have a time and disposable income and need a hobby, pumpkin chunking would probably not. There's probably worse hobbies out there.
Oh wow, this is gonna look awful when it gets blown up, but
Yeah.
they just cannoned that one.
Is that a cannonball? Yeah, that is. I don't know. I don't know how that they're propelling it with steam, I guess. Because gunpowder would just obliterate the pumpkin.
Here is let's see if I can.
But from that picture alone, you can see the scale at which they're building these things. Now, this is where I just sort of eyeball stuff. You just gotta.
Oh, here we go. Here's your actual trebuchet.
There we go. Pumpkin chunking trebuchet.
I like how they put that out. They clearly put it on a trailer so they can just wheel their trebuchet around.
Be good for Mad Max when it comes time to siege Bartertown or something.
Got both of those images from Google, just looking up the Google stuff. So if anybody wants to do that, you're more welcome to. And shout out to whoever actually owns those images.
Oh, anybody can do that.
Yeah, they can, but you know. You know what? Good question, Max. As soon as we get Justin lined up with how we're going to utilize these points and work out any of those details, we will let everybody know.
Which points is this?
The
Oh,
channel
these.
points. Also, Craft Shack, we appreciate the bits. Sorry we didn't tell you about that earlier. Got sidetracked with conversations, but we definitely appreciate that.
So they have bits or boo bars or something that they can spend?
Yeah, they get, we had kind of talked about this before, Ed, where we were talking about how to utilize, maybe use these points to generate some kind of swag-based products.
Oh, yeah,
stuff
okay.
like that. There's a bunch of things you can do with those points. Most streamers have a variety of uses, like getting special emotes and that kind of stuff. But
Okay.
we were trying to look for ways to make them feel a little bit more tangible.
That could be fun.
Also, at this juncture, I'm going to assume that the polling is pretty much complete, and it looks like people would prefer, by almost a 20% margin, to watch you do this in all of its pieces.
All of its pieces. Okay. Damn. Don't tell Justin we did this. I don't want to hear about the I'm always right.
And then as another reminder, we are currently at five sets of 5 miniatures for giveaways. We are, I believe, 4 away from making that 6. So 4 subs left, and we give away 6 sets of the Christmas miniatures. And so if you haven't got your hashtag freeze in, be sure to do so.
Okay. So what I found was, as I was doing this, is it was easier to, I want to match that up and hit that one, so I got to take some off, to do the 2 sidebars and then use the one on the left and right. The front, I'll show you in a second.
Dark Gosami has noted that they're currently having to clean the kitchen in the communal kitchen place at their work and realized they don't particularly care for their job and would like to know, how did you decide what you wanted to do with your life?
Dude, man, that is a complicated question. I'm actually a very easygoing person. And so my dad came in after high school and said, you can go to college and we'll help you pay for whatever we can. And we're going to start at junior college, Harvard on the Highway, so it's affordable. And we'll pay for books as we can and things like that. And you can live here at the house rent-free. Or, and there's always that or that catches you, you can go out and do whatever you want and start paying rent if you live here. And then me being sort of the, dude, I just want to go out to the lake and chill, or Friday night hang out and race cars or whatever, or playing bands, I said, well, I'll go to school if you're paying for it. I don't care. And so I went to school. And what happened was I actually, in high school, I won't even discuss high school. In fact, here's just a minor tidbit of my, what do you call these, a stat of my life. We had 462 people graduate in my graduation class. I was ranked 461, and my buddy was 462. So I wasn't exactly a very sterling student.
Out of how many?
Out of 462, I was 1, and Billy was 462.
Yeah, but how many people were in your class?
460 in my graduation class. We were the bottom 2.
Yeah, but now the numbers don't make any sense at all.
Okay, well, it's a boomer number. So anyway, I went to college and I found out I really enjoyed learning. I enjoyed school. And so I ended up, I started off to be computer science. And this is actually even before computer games. But after learning all the hexadecimal math, all of this stuff, we just never wrote a program. We never did anything. So I was bored, and I was talking to my dad, and I said, well, what is it you do? And he goes, well, I'm a CPA. And I said, well, how's that for math? And he goes, well, all you got to do is learn how to add, subtract, and divide. Well, I can do that. So I just became a CPA. It was really not, I had no yearning for it. I just went down that track, and we were doing in the middle of that, but I always liked painting miniatures. So
that's awesome.
we
DM
went
Sky,
down that road.
thank you very much for that Twitch Prime. And then Baba Kam gets us into our 6th person for winning. So we've got enough stuff to give away 3. That's right, 3 sets of the 5 Christmas minis.
Good. So that was really it. It wasn't really a big organic
six
decision.
sets of the 5.
It was more or less like a pinball machine. Just keep going down.
That's not too unlike what I did when I went into the military, Ed. I was just kind of like, I don't know what to do in my life. And then the recruiter kind of called at the right time.
At the right time, yeah. It's at the right place at the right time.
Right.
And you just start making decisions and you go. Reaper was started with an eye on helping the accounting office. That's a different story.
Dave's account of that situation seems to be a little bit different than yours. Something more like that says, be an accountant or I'm going to beat you.
Wow. Well, I guess maybe he pissed him off. I don't know. Maybe Dad was just sort of more excited that if I get left out and did anything, who knows. I could tell he was tired of waking up in the middle of the night with loud cars and all things. Okay, so now, so that we can, I'm going to go over this and then I'm going to start gluing it. And we'll probably call it after I glue it. But just so that we know, from this camera angle here, I'll get it around. it was very important to make sure this spacing was reasonably uniform, because the arm itself is going to travel along this axis, but more importantly, it's going to have to reach down from the back side here and pull this cargo load across this path here and then fling it up. So I need this to be straight, because if it's off, that'll start throwing all of this off. And then you also in turn now need to be straight from this side as well, parallel from there. What makes this odd, and probably we have all the extra support is you're actually locking a crossbar here, and you can't put one in. We can connect, you would think, well, I'll connect at the top. No, because the bar's got to come here and hit a rest.
Yeah.
So I'll connect down here somewhere, and I can't because the ballast has to rock through there. So it's actually a very complicated structure of supports when they get done, because it's got to do. So you got to make sure you have that. If you're going to actually fling something, you need to make sure that geometry is lined up the way it's supposed to.
So it's kind of here at the top where you almost have it.
Yeah.
But you can't be, you got to leave enough space for the rocky boat,
Right.
but you also need enough stuff at the top so that your arm doesn't get too far ahead.
Yeah, it's sort of there is the geometry to it. That's the amazing thing. So at this point, now that it's pinned in and I've got it adjusted, all I'm going to do is just literally pull a pin out. And, let's see. I should have gotten some. Here's what we'll do. Don't tell Cindy. I'm going to take some glue. And this is sort of a trick I'd learned, is I'll put glue on two sides of a business card. Go ahead and look down now so we can see get a better close-up. So I'll put glue here on the two sides. And then what I'm going to do is lift this up a little bit so I can get some clearance under there. Come on. Makes it look easy. And then pull this back out, grabbing as much glue as I can. Ow. And then insert the pin in the right location. Now at this time, I'm only going to insert them for drawing purposes. So instead of driving the pin all the way down in or anything, as you can see, it's just like a nail to hold it in place so it can dry. And then what I'm doing, oh yeah, you can see it right there, is I'll pull this pin.
Pull it forward or push forward. Up.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, I guess I bumped that. So load this up with some glue.
Justin would like for me to let you know, based on this text message I received, that, and I'm going to air quote this, I told you so.
Oh, you bitch. He's coming from his deathbed.
Clearly doing well enough to watch to make sure you're not messing the stream up.
I guess. Now, I will say this, though. The accounting world, while it is fun in its own way, that's hard to imagine, I know, it did not move. You did not have a lot of flexibility as an accountant. So really with Reaper, I was able to then start doing things. I like the promotion, the idea of sales. Do something and see your effort.
Well, plus you got to experience so many different clients with so many different business practices that you kind of get an idea of what
rest of the
works,
world's
what
doing.
doesn't, and that kind of stuff. I mean, you and Dave have said ever since I've met you that it's shocking some businesses make it having not been accountants, because there's so many nuanced things that you don't think about.
And we're still, and that was a lot of things. I'll hear this phrase, and I've corrected out for years, corrected people. They'll say, oh, well, every business will lose money for the first couple of years or something like that. No. If you're losing money day one, close it day two. And a lot of just stuff like that. But we do pull a lot from what clients had solved from oil field business, just tons of stuff.
Albizazan, thank you very much for that subscription. We appreciate you. That puts us in line for, I believe, we were ahead by one, so it's 3 more subs, and we will give away our 7th set of 5, because we're at 6 right now.
Cool, that's cool.
Well, so I'm going to have to get the kid as soon as we get done with this.
So I wish I had something more exciting to say, but that's about it.
The goal, Albavazan, is that once this is done, it will function. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to bear in mind who's building it, so that's a challenge in and of itself. But we are expecting to hurl a Hershey's Kiss a distance.
A distance. I mean, I don't know. I would think we could make it to the door. What would you say that is? About 12 feet? 10 feet, somewhere in that area?
Probably closer to 15, if I had to guess.
Okay.
Just using
If it
my,
works
my
right,
eye math.
if it works right, and we have our geometry right, and granted we haven't used a protractor once,
Just the old classic eyeballing it.
yeah, sort of like there's the moon. Tilt the rocket a little bit more to left. Fire!
Yeah, we
Get that
got
guy up in there. We're gonna launch him and send him to the moon. Sadly,
Oh, here's a fun random fact in case you're ever at trivia night. Planar Crossroads provided. There are more than 12,000 known species of ants, with more being found every day.
I did not know this about ants till the other day. It was explained to me what they call crazy ants that are coming out of South America, or have migrating north out of South America. And what crazy ants do, they're very small, is electricity seems to excite them. And if they get into, but they are drawn to electric fields, but if they get an arc, somehow that, they in turn, if one of them gets electrocuted, it releases pheromone, and they all in turn pile on to that one in a form of protection, only to in turn cause whatever shorted out the whole mess to just get loaded up with all these ants.
Well, that's interesting. So they kind of try and absorb the...
We're drawn to it, and then if it attacks them, they in turn, something like that. Crazy strawberry ants, I guess that was something.
This one
They
says
had a name for them.
Raspberry crazy ant is what...
Yeah,
Google
something like
said.
that. I just couldn't believe it. It's like, well, we didn't even have electricity 300 or 400 years ago. What were they doing before then? Just sort of hanging out with nothing to do?
Oh, Demetrius spent some little circle thing, whatever currency that is. So thank you for that, to let us know that in a highlighted message that... Oh, Demetrius, he's a civil engineer. So he's letting us know the wood has a big piece of play in the flexibility of our trebuchet.
Oh, okay.
Assuming I'm correct in my reading of that.
Well, it would provide its own suspension system. Yeah, I could easily go for that.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. This is awesome. I'm really glad that you decided to do this, Ed. This is not something I could have imagined we waste an hour and a half, 2 hours every day doing.
I could do this all day. I can just sit here and...
Just think about all the questions people get. Like this hour and a half of your time. No one comes up here to bother you.
I know, that's what do I get to look forward to? I got about, a bunch of emails, all that kind of stuff. Tuesday's a office day, so I sit at my desk and do the desk stuff. Now we're trying to get shows lined up for the year. We've got a new booth layout we're going with this year.
Oh, that is a popular question throughout the year, was where we're going to be as far as conventions. So
We are going to
thoughts?
do Adapticon. We will be doing Origins. We'll be doing PAX Unplugged as far as consumer shows this year, and then ReaperCon.
Okay.
And then trade shows will be at Alliance, ACD, and Gamma. And then overseas, we'll probably hit those this year for the first time and get those going.
That sounds like some exciting stuff. So you got some travel lined up for yourself in the future.
Yeah. I have learned to see a lot of the world I never thought I would see.
Any particular show you're most excited about?
I usually like the Gamma show is a good one. The trade shows are real good. The consumer shows are a blast because you actually get to sit down and talk to the people and listen to what they're saying and why and how they do stuff. You learn a lot there, definitely from the people that actually use the stuff and paint and go, just all that. And then the stories. The consumer shows are great, but it's a different kind of thing when you go to the trade shows because there you're dealing with store owners, things like that. And that's also, too, where we're showing off ideas, new product, usually in its idea form. It'll be prototyped out to just about completion And that's like where we took the dice this year. And that was a real,
Yeah.
very, very positive reception, and that gets exciting because now you've got these new things you can go out and focus on.
We had a lot of changes after that first visit. It's like, hey,
Right.
here are some options. Like, okay, we're gonna scrap this option
Right,
B.
and then after that, we ran it through our store. We put them through our store and sold several hundred sets and took all that back as feedback and changed again. It's just part of product design to get it to where it'll...
Melum, I would like for you to know that my wife has also been pushing for ReaperCon EU nonstop. She really wants to do it as a volunteer to go there situation, but
Funny, that's the problem. This whole place is shut down because everybody wants to go to that one and a ReaperCon AU.
like, yeah, we would absolutely love to leave the country to go support our wonderful.
I will say that it's on the agenda, and I'm working with Kit right now to figure this out because apparently parking got booked with one of the people in the complex. Turned out as an electrician, and so all of a sudden every night 500 vans show up or something. I haven't quite got the whole story, but I would like to start with an open house at the EU and get that's how ReaperCon sort of started, is doing an open house, and then from there you gauge it and start adding and growing. And now it looks like we're going to have a Brexit, so that's going to be a whole world of...
Well, that's been up, down, left, and right.
Well, I think they've pretty much said, I haven't read it, so I don't know, I don't have an opinion, other than Boris Johnson won with a large, commanding victory, which I don't know if it's a mandate, but it probably is a mandate. It sounds like it, at least, that it was enough victory to say, hey, that's what we want. We want a Brexit. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes and what happens there.
Milkolasvi. Oh, wow, I messed that up. Thank you very much for that, host.
All right. Wow, if she's in England, or he, or whatever it was, that, what'd you say, Melon?
Melon?
Melon? That means this is where you've got the real ones of these things. They really have them over there.
Just laying around in the fields.
Just laying around the fields.
Yeah. It's just kind of like all of us have cowboy hats and horses.
You don't have a cowboy hat or a horse?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay. I don't
Horses are expensive.
They are. The horse itself's not the expensive part.
Correct.
It's the maintenance.
Yeah, no, the wife's been looking at horses because she wants to get back into that, and I'm like, hey, babe, let's just get a dog instead. Let's add another dog. Those are a little bit easier to manage. Plus, we don't have to have acreage to put one on.
And this is where the accounting office comes in to help. I had a client that was doing the small ponies for show, the little short horses,
Yeah.
and they were as, if not more expensive than the full size. I was like, dude, I think you got ripped off.
My mom secured a small pony from the Canton First Monday for my niece. They ended up having to get rid of it after a year because it did not like my mother or my niece. It had no problem with my father-in-law, but did not, for whatever reason, just did not take to women.
Oh, wow.
Would bite her and
Let's
kick her.
do the down again so I can show them this last part. Okay, so we've glued everything, and I know it's a weird angle. We'll show it to you. But as you can see, let me find there. Well, let me just use my pointer tip. We're on this side here. I've got this glue and stuff. So what I'll do to get that out is I'll take this stick and with a good corner on it, and I'll just mush it like that to pull it down. And the same over here. Now, when it comes time to paint and stuff, we'll take care of those. But you can see
you still have
inside
some
of there.
the gaps there on that top piece, right
Yeah.
there, that angled piece. Are you going to fill that again? Or
Yeah,
is this
that'll
just-
actually, we'll get, I'll
Okay.
show you how to, that's another trick later on down the line to cut those little angles out. So that's all I'm doing here is because I just don't want to make, I just want to make sure that when it's done, I can't, if you end up in leaving a big blob, like here's a really big one right there. If you leave that, then the only way you're going to get it out is literally to cut it out. And that's not going to be fun. So it's better just to get it off and down as minimalized as possible. And then that way what we'll end up doing is probably take a little part of the surface and playing with it and things like that. The glue will contract too. That's how we'll actually use a material to fill a lot of these holes in, or these weird gaps. So anyway, now you can go back to the other camera. So now we've got these. We've got them pretty much spot on here. I can see a little difference.
Well, that may also be
It'd be the camera angle.
So don't think
And then you've got over here
Although when
like
you look
that.
at it like that, it does definitely looks
I
different.
got a little bit more here. Well, this one here is
Yeah, it's a little
bending a little.
taller.
So the way I'll pull that is, let me find this guy here is the one that's adjusting that. So I can pull it over, get it lined up. Let's see, there we go. It doesn't want to go too much. Is it that one or this one? Oh, that's the wrong one. This one's good. That's why I'm looking at a camera. I'm looking in like in a mirror. There we go. Yeah, much better. So move it back and then repin it. So at this point, it's literally is a time. It's a good stopping part. It's a way to get it to dry, give it a chance to dry. And as you can see, go back to, oh, here, I've got this picture. Oh, I've already lost my crayon. That's no problem. Oh, yeah, there it is. So now we've got these parts, these main parts done, and for that part. And then next week, we'll add these supports in all the way around. And at that point, then we'll also start on this beam. And the beam is actually, I've discussed this before, it's part of the whole, like the engineer was talking about, the function of wood and how it will flex, is the beam is built out of two pieces of wood, right? You can see right here. And this one will come on up, and it comes up to about right here where it sort of feathers in. And then they'll use all of this rope to lash it. But as it's coming down, it's so big, you're not going to get it to just single flex like a bow would do. But it's going to have the ability to give, and that's part of it. As you're pulling this down and putting the weight there, this actually functions. So it's actually, in the end, an extremely complicated, heavily engineered piece, considering the technology that's in this for the time it was being built. So anyway, we'll call it there for this week. That works. And it's about an hour and a half. So anyway, who did we need to do a drawing, and we also need a raid. By the way, that raid was classic, where you sent us to a...
You know, he sent a message as I was preparing for today. He sent a message saying that he was informed, and I was like, "Yeah, that was my bad."
But you sent us to it. What was it? He wasn't online. Is that you?
Yeah, see not. He does the hand sculpting is pretty much what he does. So he does a lot of miniature based stuff, but on larger scales. So, all right. So I have our winners, and I will announce them now. If I ruin the name, I'm also putting it in chat, so don't forget about that. So here we go. For those that win, what do they need to do, Ed?
Oh, they need to send. You need to send your Twitch handle, your email at. Well, we're going to get your email, but your real name, the address, your shipping address. That's the most important part. And you get that on there, and you email it to reaperlive@reapermini.com.
Absolutely. Don't forget, we need both the name that won plus how to get it to you.
How to get it to you is important. There is a lot of people that say, "Hey, I won,"
And you're just
or
like,
or
okay.
you'll even get the ones that say, "Hey, I won. Give me this," or "Here's my address." And with all of these shows and all this stuff going on, you just
Definitely need the Twitch handle and the address. So here we go. First winner is Jedi Jared. Second winner is AvralinaofDarnassus. And then third winner, ViggosPeeps. Fourth winner, personal favorite name here, is reaperismycrack. Ronico 589 is our fifth winner. And our sixth and final winner for the night is GAMERsART. So thank you, everybody who both participated, and for those that won, congratulations.
And Mini Wizard Studios was trying to hint that they could use a raid sometime.
Ooh, okay. I think we can make that happen.
Well, congratulations to everybody. Thank you so much for the support, and to stay with us. And we will just sit here and slog through, which will probably add about another episode at least to the show to finish this up. But Michael is right. I've got to build something. I think it was a scene. We'll play with that. Maybe we might do that next week as just a quick break and then get back to this kind of a thing. So get it out of the way because it's due in January. So anyway, everybody, you can go back to the regular screen if you need to do that. So anyway, y'all have fun. Get ready for Christmas. Stay safe. That's the most important thing, and stay warm. We're on Twitch, obviously, but you've got YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and now on Reddit. John runs the Reddit. He's been doing that real well. As Dave loves, Facepalm, and then my favorite, MySpace. So anyway, excuse me.
Are you
Yes,
okay?
the dust is getting to me, yeah. I'm just drinking some water.
I lost my mouse. Where'd it go? There. Oh, found it. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys
And where are we
again
going to
tomorrow.
raid? We are going to raid Mini Wizard
Yeah,
Studios.
that was
Man,
a great
just
idea.
ask and you got it. There
There
we
it
go.
is.
And we know they're there.
Yeah,
So.
that was the key for me this time around.
I think it was awesome. It's like you just catapulted a bunch of people into a wall. You know.
All right,
All right, guys. Y'all take care. Have fun.